Spence broke him down.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like I'm excited for Spence. I'm proud of him. I much more respect for him.
Shawn, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derrick James. Ain't no haters here.
Absolutely.
Shout out to everybody that watch our stuff to take clips. And hey, we ain't watching y'all. Y'all watching us.
Yeah.
But at least give us our due. Don't put no words in our mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, he got 2 champions. He getting 3 champions.
Listen, man, you said it right, man. Listen, you said it right. It wasn't just people don't understand. It's not just the fighter in the ring. Like first thing you said, you talked about Danny's dad. You didn't even start off talking about Danny. You started off talking about Danny's dad. There's more in the ring than just the 2 fighters, and that's another big separation. What do you have in your corner in between rounds? What do you have in preparation for the fight? I mean, I literally have to really just bow and pay homage to Derrick James, to Spence's family, to all of his other coaches and friends that had helped him come back from everything that he was coming back from, didn't allow him to get discouraged. I mean, he said it was hard. I know it was hard. I mean, I've never been through anything like that, and it's hard for me to stay consistent in 1 week of training when I don't got anything going on, you know. So he was at a point where he had to come back from everything, and he came back, man. I mean, I was filled up at the end of the night because of him. You know, I've had people tell me that the fight was more uneventful than they expected, and I disagree. But I saw the art last night from both fighters, but specifically from Errol Spence Jr. I saw some art and I saw some integrity from Danny Garcia for, you know, a good 5 rounds. But after that, I saw Errol Spence Jr. beat Danny Garcia, the most convincing beating that or loss that he's taken. The great punch selection from Errol Spence Jr. A lot of jabs. He knew that my dude is trying to control people with the jabs, and he knows that he can control people with the jabs. Like, I'm interested to see what he wants to do in another fight with me, because he's got to make some adjustments, and I got to make some adjustments.
And another thing about that, we're not happy with the results of Errol, Shawn, because a lot of people tell me, like, y'all act like y'all won. No, hell no. Me and Shawn be talking all the time like, we got to do this, we got to do that.
Yeah.
Got to do this. You know, I get pissed watching the fight.
Hey, yo, I could tell you was pissed like a couple of days ago when you was texting me. You was pissed, and then I got pissed because I got to, like, I'm like, yeah, you right. And then I'm like, why the, you know, so yeah.
But,
you're right. Like, you got, like, it has to be put out there. Like, people don't understand. Like, I love this. This is what I do. It's not all that I do, but when I'm in this, I have to be respectful, and I got to keep it real. Being respectful and keeping it real don't mean I'm scared. It don't mean I don't want it. It just means I'm keeping it real. The dude did something amazing last night. And, hey, let me say this too, because I was like, thought about this today, and I was like, damn, I should have said this on the telecast last night. But we talked about we know about the accident that Errol Spence Jr. was in. I mean, we saw the car, the whole 9. And it reminded me of Vinny Pazienza, who was in an accident, not as bad and close to fatal as that, but he broke his neck and had to come back from a neck injury and ends up fighting Roy Jones Jr. You know what I mean? So we saw, now I said this earlier, I was speaking to somebody, said this earlier, I said, we've seen this now twice in our lifetimes, and I don't think there's any other 2 guys that could do this. It's like, I know I wouldn't do it. If I'd been in that car wreck, y'all wouldn't see me fighting again, and I'm sure y'all probably wouldn't even want me to fight again. Yeah. But Errol Spence Jr. is special, he's unique, and he's different, and that's why we're talking about him on the Porterweight podcast. But the other guy, Vinny Pazienza, crazy, out of his mind. For anybody that doesn't know that story, gets in an unbelievable car accident, basically breaks his spine or something like that, has to have a neck brace on all around over his back and everything, and is actually downstairs in the wee hours of the night hitting the bag just like this, because he loves the sport that much, and because he can't leave the sport, and he doesn't want to leave the sport, and this is the only thing he wants to do and the only thing he can do. I'm not saying that's Errol Spence Jr. that this is the only thing he has, but he showed a love and he showed a genuine care for his life, for his family's life, for his career, for his legacy enough to want to come back. And we all have to respect him for now, not only coming back and saying I'm 100%, but actually showing and proving it. I wasn't sure. Had my fingers crossed. I wasn't sure, but I think it's safe to say he's 100%.
Hey man, I said I loved him last week, so I don't need to say it again.
I wasn't with you. I wasn't even with you. I'm like,
hey, even after that, I still don't love him.
I love Errol. I think he's a solid guy, and I think he is a top 5 pound for pound fighter right now at worst. Probably top 3.
Dang, keep pushing one more spot.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not gonna put him up there. But
me too.
I also, one thing to mention though, it was. So going back to Derrick James, just the difference in the corners, how Derrick James is able to explain, hey, and Errol's clearly winning the fight, and he's able to say, hey, that round you did a little bit of this, do a little bit more of that. So he's able to explain it a little better.
Yeah.
Angel Garcia in the post-fight press conference, he hit Danny with the line that none of us want to hear. He said, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed." I was like, oh,
he said that?
Because he was saying it was activity. He said Danny needed to do more, and he didn't. He said, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I was like, oh, that's the worst thing a parent could tell you.
Hey, remember I said last week, the last 10 seconds of your fight.
And he did it again.
Last 10 seconds of Earl fight. Even Angel got mad.
Oh yeah,
Angel got mad about that.
I said he was gonna do that.
Yeah,
come
100%.
on, man.
Errol was great, and then Danny again. If you could just take that last 30 seconds of that 12th round and spread it out throughout the fight, even to an extent, spread it out. But yeah, it was
as soon as they hit that bell in the 12th round with 10 seconds left,
clap.
He turns into a different person.
Right. It's something he's like hypnotized, right? When he hears that clap, the ching ching, he's like, all of a sudden he's like, oh man, 10 seconds left in the last round, let me fire off.
Errol's smart, man. He's smart. He plays 100%. The game very well, and he's got a good feel for what's going on in the ring. I mean, there's moments where you hear a clap at the end of a round and guys try to steal a round. There's moments where he's right there and he's like, he decides whether or not I need this. And there was moments in this fight where he didn't need it, and he actually just took a step back and let the fight and let those rounds end. There was also moments where he's like, man, let me get this real quick, pop, and he's making sure Danny doesn't steal the round, or he's making sure he finishes the round strong, leaving that lasting impression on the judges before he goes back to the corner. I mean, the dude is smart, So while I was watching last night, I surely was learning and trying to take it all in too. Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.